Tier 53, Cathari Ruins, blue team. We've got some Space Marines. First up is SorroWfuL LivED as an Apothecary, support commander that fights in melee combat by default, begins with a targeted heal and a passive health regeneration aura. This is the Blood Angels elite scheme. That's a Death Company Apothecary. Would he technically still be a Sanguinary Priest? I'm not sure. Alongside, Gumai as a Force Commander, very good offense, fights in melee combat. Can also tank, disrupt and support with buffs, and this is more Blood Angels elite scheme, so going to be a lot of confusion between these players, exact same scheming going on. Meanwhile, rounded off the blue team, we've got He-Man as a Plague Champion, starts off ranged combat with a damage over time bolter, can get melee weapons, some decent utility, and support can build turrets and repair, but is very slow. And yeah, would perhaps benefit from seeing a dermatologist, that fella. Red team, we have double Tyranids. First up, the Tenso with a Hive Tyrant, very durable commander, walk through objects and cannot be suppressed. Powerful offense, disruption and support. Begins in melee combat with a basic synapse. The synapse is that green stuff you can see around these fellas' heads, giving them some defensive bonuses. Hormagaunts in amongst these Marines. This is pretty dicey here. Alongside though, YZ with a Lictor Alpha, melee specialist that can infiltrate and disrupt with some powerful offense and a little bit of support too. Hormagaunts alongside, and rounding us off is stigma8113, rocking a Lord General. Fights range combat, begins with a retinue of stormtroopers to help him out. Can add to the retinue throughout the game, giving him more abilities, and has some powerful defense and support. This is, it's not a DLC, it's just a Lord General. A Lord General in green, just got his stormtroopers back, bashing power early on. Very aggressive start from the Lord General. Lost both of his stormtroopers there, pushing forward, but it's getting a power bash out of it. Had some support from the Lictor Alpha, who's getting in amongst some CSM. You see the Lictor Alpha be very aggressive early on. He kind of needs to be to stay relevant, but maybe should lean on his support abilities a little bit more as the game goes on in the 3v3. His pheromones are pretty strong. Also his menacing visage, pretty good. There's that flesh hook, one of his starting abilities, alongside the ability to go all invisible like. Runs away, gets away. Did well there, YZ. Pushed forward, helped out with a power bash, and got out safely. Now has some warriors on the field. Meanwhile, talking a good play, Stigma gets a full power bash and a decap with a multi-laser turret up. But here we see double grenade launcher heretics from He-Man, and those things are going to be painful for those double guardsmen of Stigma. They don't like, I was going to say they don't like AoE weapons, but to be honest, guardsmen don't like any weapons brought to bear on them, I don't think. Especially in tier 1 when they don't have their commissar and they can't really trade super effectively with most things. Commissar really helps them out on the damage front. Got some Marines backing up these CSM here. Some super heresy. Northeast is turning red. Tyranids with a warrior brood in its default melee state. These guys have power melee weapons and a very handy leap into combat, knocking you over and setting up a charge from Hormagaunts. They do provide a basic synapse too. Warrior brood of YZ with a barbed strangler, suppressing on hit, as you see with those CSM there, and there's a flesh hook too. Now in and gets a kill. He starts off, I think, with like 60 DPS melee or something, the Lictor Alpha. It really hurts. Does not have a ranged weapon, of course, aside from, you know, the flesh hooks. Gets in, gets out. Maybe could have been a little bit more patient there, waiting for Stigma, who's got some Catachans up. Very versatile infantry, can disrupt, support, and get into melee combat. They actually have power melee weapons. Backing off here though. Maybe they're wary of the grenade launchers. These tactical Marines staying in play a little bit too long. Lucky to get away with only one loss there. Force Commander in amongst things, using his default ability, the battle cry, giving him 10 seconds or so of those special attacks going off and buffing his allies every time they do so with a damage bonus. Apothecary, Sanguine Chainsword, allows him to be more aggressive early on, racking up some kills, which in turn racks up some XP and tying things up effectively. And Purification Rites, some good disruption on demand alongside his heal when he uses it. Can use it on himself, of course, if he gets in trouble too. More power bashing. He-Man, I don't think, was able to get on the power here. I don't think so. But Stigma's right back on it. And has, oh, double Catachans. Could be absolutely gloriously awesome, or a massive resource sink in reinforcing those guys. And their upkeep, of course. Grenade launchers coming in. That's the disruptive grenade barrage. And I don't think, can you repair when you're on your ass knocked over? If you're still close enough, maybe you can. Hormagaunts with adrenal glands here for YZ, getting the cap. It's a double here for the red team. VPs can swap hands very, very quickly on Cathari Ruins. Apothecary's down. Looks like he was going for a power bash, maybe, or maybe just chasing something. Grenade hits the Hive Tyrant, but he can't be knocked over for it. He just marches right through. Got rending talons and extended carapace, so he can charge into your face and then do the seismic roar. And if he's level 2, he can do one after the other, which is handy. Assault Marines on the field for SorroWfuL LivED in their Death Company garb. Lictor Alpha leads the line, not being spotted by anything because these scouts do not have their sergeant, who is specially trained in spotting invisible xenos, apparently. Oh, there he is. Scout sergeant on the way. Power bash is going up. Or going down, I should say. None of those terms make sense, Indrid. Power bash going on. Now they're backing off a little bit too sluggishly. The Assault Marine is getting in on the Warriors, spotting an opening, and gets a kill. See that Synapse backlash going off, knocking down those non-Synapse creatures, and also doing a percentage of their health as damage. I'm pretty sure it's a percentage of their maximum health, not a percentage of their current health, but actually I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's of their maximum health. Hive Tyrant, is he going to charge away? It's a good charge, and uses it to retreat. Nicely done. You got to aim your charges well. Helps to know exactly what units you can get through as a Hive Tyrant. Can't get through all of them. Some of them have heavy crush, which can only be flattened by even bigger and heavier things than a Hive Tyrant, like a Dreadnought. Although, whether they are actually bigger and heavier than a Hive Tyrant in the lore is debatable, I would say. Red team, again, bashing power on this southwest side, thanks to Stigma with his double Catachans. We have double aspiring champions for the heretics. Not sure what that was about. Maybe afraid of those grenade barrages from the Catachans wiping out the heretics without an aspiring champion there. That could happen, especially if they've got some kind of damage buff going on. 2, 3, 4, 400. Force Commander in amongst some Hormagaunts. Usually does reasonably well against tier 1 melee squads when he's got his battle cry ability, and of course in tier 2 can get the Thunderhammer and go to town. Speaking of tier 2, Gumai is there and has a whirlwind on the field. Here it comes. Awesome disruption, and blue team with a concerted push against the power here. 2, 3, 4, 3, 8, 9 on the VPs. 2-to-1 cap. Everyone tier 2? No, not quite. He-Man still in tier 1. Got some Raptors up. Looks like he dropped one of these heretic squads down there. Not having the best of times, He-Man. Nurgle will not be pleased. Hive Tyrant gets away, very nearly level 2. Space Marines need to be careful here. Now they have the support of the Whirlwind doing that awesome disruption. As you can see, it's not the most accurate thing, but when you're shooting at massive chunks of Tyranid flesh, you're going to hit something. Apothecary getting stuck in. What level are you now? Level 3, there we go. His starting heal ability gets more powerful every 2 levels, so that would have just made it a bit better there. Hitting level 3. 2, 3, 4 to 3, 5, 7 on the VPs. 2-to-1 cap for blue. Stigma continues to be a massive pain in the arse down here. On the power, a hell of a lot. Here are the Raptors getting a heal from Breath of Nurgle. Jumping, suppressing, getting stuck in. We got Eternal War in the CSM. Yeah, he spent quite a lot of power in tier 1. He-Man, nothing wrong with that, but he got to get results out of it. Some Nurgle worship there, boosting the health regeneration of these units. for the Plague Champion. And that's the Creeping Barrage. There it is, a global ability of the Lord General. Some awesome disruption if he can land it. Looks like he did land it on a single squad at least. You do get a decent amount of time to respond to that thing. Uh-oh. This is really bad. When you stun a heretic squad that is worshipping, they can't stop worshipping because you can't activate the worship ability again. So it can lead to lots of heretic deaths. Well, even more heretic deaths than they usually get. Medical Sergeant on the Lord General's retinue there, handing out medical packs. You might have seen the heal go off earlier on one of those Catachans. Flak Jacket too, for a defensive buff. Which is useful against Chaos because they have a lot of upfront damage in your face. It's pretty much their thing. Not a lot of subtlety about them. Down goes the Sentinel, trying to get a stomp off, but goes down before he hit the ground there. 2, 3, 4, 306. Breath of Nurgle heal, but these guys are outside of cover. There's a Noxious Cloud. These guys now have their Commissar, so if they can get plasma guns up, and looks like he's trying to, they're going to trade actually quite well with those CSM. Unless other things come into play, like the aspiring champion for the CSM and Slaughter and that kind of thing, and Marks. But a default CSM squad easily put some guards on them with plasma guns. Apothecary continues to try and get in there. That was a grenade, dodged. Hormagaunts in the back lines. Apothecary comes to see to it, and those might be dead Hormagaunts. If he forced melee combat with the Tactical Marines, I think he would have taken them out there, just to get a few hits in as they retreat. Why are you slow? Oh, crippling poison. I thought he had his armor of the Apothecarian going on, his advanced healing. 2-to-1 cap. Don't see. Oh, I was gonna say I don't see any big scary tier 2 stuff, but here's the Tyrant Guard, and this thing can be pretty scary. Awesome against Space Marines, I find, especially if they have Assault Marines up, and SorroWfuL LivED does. They love getting in amongst an Assault Marine squad with their splash damage heavy melee. They will rip through them pretty nicely, and he's getting double Tyrant Guard here. A build used quite heavily by Hive Minion. Haven't seen a game from him in a while. But we'll see how the Tenso does with it. YZ with a Zone Thrope. An artillery support unit. Doesn't do... Well, it does decent damage, but not as much as other artillery pieces. But it doesn't need to set up, and it also provides some nice health regeneration. It's like a floating alien Apothecary that can shoot psychic powers out of his head. Spore Mines dropped in. Drop pod is up. Oh, he's gone for the Power Fist, really, Force Commander. No Thunderhammer hate. Tyrant Guard have super heavy infantry, so they would have actually taken a lot of damage from a Thunderhammer, but they can go into shield wall mode, which makes them into a vehicle in terms of armor. But down goes that Force Commander. Looks like SorroWfuL LivED got away okay. Apothecary, yep, he's alive. And he's gone for Armor of Purity. Faster cooldown on your heal. Can be the difference between the squad wipe and not. He-Man unable to cap here. Heretic taking a lot of damage. Catachan's coming into play. Looks like they have their Sergeant. There he is, shooting that melter gun. Pretty handy. Makes them even more versatile for you. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in tier 2 that can kill them so fast in terms of AoE abilities. Blood Crusher on the way for He-Man. Stigma getting nothing out in tier 2 unless they did get something out and it's already gone down. Power being bashed again a little bit. Getting a bit better at judging the fights, I think, the Tyranids. Now that they have the double Tyrant Guard as well, that is something. Facing down double Tyrant Guard and the melee Hive Tyrant. Oh, but look at this. Assault Terminators coming into the field for Gumai. Unique Terminator variant for the Force Commander with those heavy melee Nemesis Demon Hammers and Storm Shields. Makes them insanely tough. They will happily go toe-to-toe with anything in the game, but you do need to be careful with specialised anti-super heavy infantry units. Lictor Alpha with some power melee feeder tendrils doing some good damage there, and Zone Thropes with their psychic damage doing big chunks. So Terminator's teleporting out. They will live to fight another day. And now these Tyrant Guards, which I spoken so highly of, will of course now instantly go down. Indrid's Curse may strike again here. Force Commander did go down. 170 to 229. 2-1 cap. Looks like the Tyrant Guard did make it out. They need to go into shield wall and heal up. Center is turning blue thanks to the Apothecary there. Might be able to get a revive on the Force Commander, which will cause him to hit level 5 and get an even more powerful heal to use. And of course, with the faster cooldown too. 165 to 229. 1-1 cap. What's going on southwest? Noxious Cloud, one of the global abilities of the Plague Champion being called in here. Looks like he has spotted it. You can control this cloud, by the way. Does heavy melee damage per tick, so you can even finish off a very low health vehicle with it. Heavy turret up. Oh wow, did he take out one of the Guardsmen? He did. Good shot from the heavy turret, made those guys back off. Here's the Blood Crusher. A Bloodletter riding a Juggernaut, a demon vehicle type unit. 154, 228. Stigma. Had a heavy weapon squad on the way, cancelled it for some Guardsmen. Pretty late to be getting Guardsmen up when you don't have anything to repair. What's the plan for this Blood Crusher exactly? Just going to use the melter guns for the Catachans maybe? The Lord General himself can also get melter guns, but doesn't have them up right now. Sacred Standard up for the Force Commander. So powerful in team games. A lot of the things that Space Marines can do can be so powerful in team games. Another thing these Terminators can do, of course, is inspire on kill. When they kill something, that inspiration effect goes off, as you can see, buffing nearby allies with a whole bunch of small buffs actually, like some suppression resistance and damage buffs and that kind of thing, I believe. Tyrant Guard are getting in on them though, doing some good damage to these Terminators. Of course, those Zone Thropes helping. But look how much damage these guys can soak up. It's pretty crazy. Got a heal there from the Apothecary, but they need to be careful. Teleporting out. They drop. They did drop one. All these drop pods. You need to destroy these things, Tyranids. I know you can't eat them, but you need to take them down. Space Marines able to reinforce off these drop pods. Level 3 Whirlwind has done some work. Has a hunter-killer missile that can be effective against large targets. Most likely already used it against this Tyrant Guard here. Where's the other one? He's getting away. This one might also get away. These guys have plasma guns though. They're doing a lot of damage to that guy. I think they're going to finish him off. And they do. So down goes one. Get a lot of red for a Tyrant Guard. 54. Torrent formation also going off, as you saw there. Southwest, we have a Nurgle Shrine and a blue victory point for Blood. Not for long. Guardsmen are capping it. Triple cap here for blue. They're looking quite strong with Terminators and a big Apothecary infantry army. Plasma Cannon is up too. He-Man might need some support at the bottom, although they could just help hold the mid and the northeast and see out a victory that way. Double cap going to turn into a 2-1, you would think. Plague Champion is still down there contesting it, but they did get the cap. Double Zone Thropes. They're still left one, as you can see. They haven't killed much because they've spent a lot of the time shooting at the Terminators, which are not easy to kill. Sometimes can be a problem against Space Marines. You can get starved of XP because it can be really tough to take down their Marines. Lictor Alpha, done quite well I think, almost level 4. Tyranids getting pinned back. Space Marines advancing intelligently and slowly here. Heavy turret still in play. And oh, look at this, red team got on the northeast. Some sneaky Termagants. Now going to feel the wrath of the Assault Squad, are they? Are you going to jump, fellas? Oh, a plasma cannon shot's coming in. They didn't want to jump. There we go. There's a jump. And a really good and clean shot from the plasma cannon. Apothecary, Assault Marines finishing them off there. Lord General with his sniper rifle. Going to get disrupted by the Whirlwind. Yeah, good luck capping that with the Whirlwind sitting there. You need to take that thing out. And the Zone Thropes do have an anti-vehicle ability called Focused Warp Blast, which does a chunk of damage to a large target. Could try and get the Whirlwind that way. It's not the toughest vehicle around, that's for sure. Another good plasma cannon shot there. Lictor Alpha seems to be getting caught alone a little bit now. And look at this. A Neurothrope on the field for the Tenso. It's like a big, mean, even meaner Zoanthrope. Limited to 1. A super unit of sorts. And it's dangerous. Has that. Cataclysm. Some nice disruption. Actually took out 2 Marines with that. And also the awesome Paroxysm ability, which does percentage-based damage to units. And extra to heavy and super heavy. So it's really, really bad news for Terminators. And these guys are standing in it. This is the Paroxysm. They did take out the Tyrant Guard. This is an unupgraded Carnifex. Still a 30-foot alien. But becomes quite a bit more powerful with its weapon upgrades. Terminators going after the Neurothrope and might get it. Oh, save there. Not sure what... Oh, down goes the Neurothrope still. What got the hit there? Not sure. Not sure what knocked over those Terminators either. Might have been a plasma cannon hit coming in. It's getting close. 128 to 21. Warrior Brood pulled in. This Carnifex still doesn't have an upgrade. And that's because YZ doesn't have the resources to do so. Getting close to it though. Warriors knocked around. They do have their Thorax Swarm. Gives them a couple of nice abilities. One is anti-vehicle, one is anti-infantry. Going for the Barb Strangler. And why not? It's a giant green plasma cannon on a giant alien. Pretty effective. Double Catachan is still around. Look at these guys. Level 4. You ain't seen what they've seen. YZ wants some more Barb Stranglers, dude. We have a heavy melee Warrior Brood. The Tenso looking kind of depleted though. 81 to 21. He-Man also looking depleted. Got some Plague Marines up. These fellas with a missile launcher that can snare targets. But you've got a heavy turret and a multi-laser turret over here. Stigma's played really well, I feel like. Scout's getting away with 1 hit point, I believe. Catachan's getting buffed by the sniper rifle. Fire on my target. 57 to 21. Heal going off, of course, from this medical sergeant over here. Played his Catachans really well. Some good disruption, some good damage. And stays in the fight. Was to try and hold this VP as long as possible. That is an orbital bombardment. And that is a ton of formation. It's nuke time. The submarine is jumping the hell out of it. Hard to tell how effective that orbital was. Doesn't look like it was super effective. Didn't see anything get caught in it. Ton of formation did a little bit of work. Land Raider Redeemer on the way for SorroWfuL. Is it going to come out in time to actually have an impact on this game? Triple now for red. Look at this comeback. It was like 100 to 20 at some point. It's a creeping barrage, and red team are going to take this with a triple. GG. GG indeed. The Great Devourer takes it with some Imperial Guard help, and a lot of help actually. Stigma did really well in the southwest. Lots of pressure on that VP. Let's look at these heroes end of the game. Level 8 Apothecary. Purification Rites, Armor of Purity, and Stuck with his Sanguine Chainsword. We had a Force Commander at level 4, Power Fist, Artificer, Sacred Standard. The Plague Champion was down. Had his Plague Fist, as you can see. His Mucus Discharge too. Hive Tyrant was down. Not sure if he got anything else. Had Rending Talons at some point. Lictor Alpha, level 5. Did have the Pheromones and a level 8 Lord General with Sniper Rifle, Flak Jacket, and the Medical Sergeant for the areas. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.